I'm a Deputy Attorney General. I work for Bill Lockyer in the Consumer Law section. And I want to make clear I'm speaking here on behalf of myself and my own experiences, not on behalf of Bill Lockyer, although I'm sure he would agree with a lot of what I'm saying today. I've been an attorney for 10 years, and most of that time I've been working on economic justice issues. I've represented for most of my career low-income people with their debt problems. And I want to talk through the two issues that were raised earlier today with respect to what REBA means. The first is do not overburden yourself in debt. What I am seeing today is extremely disheartening. I see the gap, the wealth gap, opening up further and further between more and more of the poor and less of the rich. And the reason that this is happening is not only because their incomes are so low, it is because they are getting further and further into debt. Because we live primarily in a materialistic culture where you are defined by what you own. And we all buy into that. It is so hard not to buy into that. You see it every day on TV, you hear it and see it everywhere you go. And all of us buy into it, and it's a constant struggle not to. Everybody wants to buy into this dream, including low-income people. They want a home, they want a car, they want everything that all of us want, but they don't necessarily have the resources to get it. And so they've increasingly turned to getting more and more into debt. In the 90s, we've seen a huge upswing in the debt that low-income people are getting them into. We are at a crisis in our society, a debt crisis. For the first time ever, the annual income, average income in the United States is less than the average annual debt payment load. And so what's happening with the poor, though, is there are more and more financial products being offered to them that are extremely expensive, far beyond the risks that the lender is taking. And it's basically renting money out at very high rates to the people that can least afford it. You see it in payday lending, you see it in tax refund anticipation loans, you see it in predatory lending and subprime lending in all of these communities. And for example, payday lending and tax refund anticipation loans are often into the triple annual percentage rates. I've seen refund anticipation loans as high as 700% APR. For people that are getting the earned income tax credit, these people are working poor who need that money to bring their family out of poverty. It's the largest anti-federal poverty law program in the United States. And it's very disheartening for me to see this all the time. I am very heartened by REBA, this idea of REBA-free banking. You are the hope. This is the hope right now of our society. This is leading the way. None of us are doing this except for you all. And I am so happy to see that this is being incorporated into HSBC and Citigroup, both of whom own subprime predatory lenders that recently paid very large, one a $500 million settlement for their predatory lending practices, the other a $200 million settlement. And so you being in the system is so incredibly important to start moving our financial institutions into a more healthy and socially just way of lending. It's very hopeful to me because I get so upset when I see this all the time and see what's happening in our low-income communities. I also want to say that we've, in the Christian tradition and in the Jewish tradition, there is a very strong anti-usury provision. The language you read this morning is so similar to what we have in our own texts, but it's been very much ignored for the past 300 years. And so we are, in our church, are trying to bring that consciousness back to one of the primary issues in our religion is economic justice. And you all are leading the way. You're a great example to us, and I hope we can continue this conversation.